Hello.
Hi, how are you?
How are you? I'm good, thanks. How about yourself?
I'm good, I'm good.
That's good. My name is Heather. What's your name?
My name is Marcos.
Marcos.
Yeah,
It's very nice to meet you. Where do you
nice
live?
to meet you too. I live in Brazil. I'm from and
Oh,
I live in Brazil.
wow. We are pretty far apart. I'm all the way up in Canada.
Canada?
Yes.
Mm. But you're from um, you're from in the United Kingdom.
Nope, I was born and raised in Canada. Yeah,
Okay, okay. I
yeah.
think you're from the United Kingdom and live in Canada.
No, no, I've actually never left Canada.
Mm.
Yes.
And how is the weather in Canada?
Oh, I always love asking people from Brazil because it is such a huge country, just like Canada, but in the other way, right? So the northern part of your country is experiencing a different season than the southern part of your country. I love it. Here
Yeah, yeah.
it is 19 degrees. So it is the beginning of fall. How about for you?
19?
Yeah.
Uh, jealous because in
Oh,
Brazil in Brazil it's 31 degrees.
I am jealous. I already miss summer.
And isn't summer in Brazil yet?
No?
No, I
What
think
season are you in?
today is I don't know, but I think it isn't summer yet.
No.
But in this week, heavy, very super hot in Brazil.
Is
The
it?
week is very hot, and in the next week, uh, will very hot too.
It's going to get
I don't know
there.
why, but it's very hot.
Even though it's not summer yet, you're saying.
No.
Interesting. Very
Yeah.
interesting. Actually, it is. It's been funny weather here. Very funny weather, actually. We did have a night just a few nights ago. It went down to 4 degrees. So
Oh.
cold. So cold for this time of year. It's not supposed to be dropping down that low. But then now today it's 19 going up to like 23 or something for like the rest of the week. Maybe even 2 weeks now. It's supposed to be around 21, 23 in and around there. And so it's not supposed to be that warm still. It's supposed to be colder because it's fall. So it's very strange weather.
Yeah, I like cold, but
Me too.
in Brazil isn't it normally 2 degrees, 4 degrees. It's
It
very,
doesn't
very
happen.
difficult. In Brazil, normally 25, 20, and this
Right.
week 30, 32. And I don't like uh,
No, it's
the
just too much.
hot
See,
because uh, I'm stressed. And I'm a teacher and think I teacher on the class with 40 students on
oh
class.
wow. Okay, that's a large class.
Yeah, and in Brazil don't have um, some schools don't have a ventilator on class.
Oh,
Yeah,
eek. Oh, so it would get so hot in the classroom, especially with that many bodies, right? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
very
Oh,
hot.
yes,
Yeah.
I can understand for sure. See, here, even in the summertime, the hottest that I have ever experienced is 35, is the hottest it ever gets. And we only get maybe like 5 days a year like that, if we're lucky. So it's
Yeah.
when we get a 30-degree day, I love it so much. I can go to the beach and jump in the pool, and I live for those days because we just don't have enough. It's way too cold here all the time, right? And so it's funny
Mm,
that we're opposites just because of where we live. I've always
yeah.
said if I ever were to leave Canada, the only thing that I would not miss is the snow. I would not miss the snow.
Yeah, yeah. I have a friend live in Canada,
Okay.
and he is Brazilian,
Yeah.
but he said that I don't remember the year in Canada was very hot, and the banks and the school don't have work because it's very hot,
Yes.
and he work in bank, and
Okay.
the bank say don't come work, you work at home office.
Yes, yes, we have those days here in Canada when it gets too hot. We're just so. Sometimes I think that we're a big country of babies almost. We get heat warnings. We had a heat warning because it was going to be 30 degrees for like 3 days in a row. So it was a heat wave for us, right? Because we're not used to it.
Yeah, yeah, and we have the for example in Brazil, normally it's more hot, and when it's cold, uh, it's very bad the people because isn't normal. And I
Right.
think in Canada, for example, it's normally very cold. And when have a sun and the time is very hot, it isn't good for
Yes,
you.
yes, because we're not
Mm,
used to it. Actually, though, an interesting fact, and it's something that I had never thought of. They're saying that with these hot temperatures here in Canada, it can actually be very, very dangerous for us, because our homes, our actual buildings, our homes have been built to keep heat in, right? Because for in the winter time to keep the heat in is so important. And so in the summertime, then when it's so hot, it's our homes are still doing that. It's retaining all of the heat. And so it actually can become very dangerous for us inside our own homes in that extreme heat.
yeah,
Yes, and
yeah,
it's something
yeah.
that I just never even thought of. I thought it was kind of interesting because yeah, our architecture was all built in thinking of the warmth and keeping it in, right?
I think interesting about Canada because Canada is a big country.
Huge.
Yeah, it's
Second biggest
more.
country in the world.
Yes, it's biggest to Brazil, I think.
It is, yes. But
Yeah,
the only country that is bigger than us is actually Russia. We are the two biggest. Yeah.
yeah, but the population isn't big. Why?
Because I think it's the weather scares everybody away. I
Mm.
think because well, and really, if you look at our country, sorry, I've got this for the kids. I also teach kids on Cambly, but
Yeah.
if you look at Canada and the United States, if you look, all of our major cities are all kind of
Mm-hmm.
along the border, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so most of our population actually lives close to the border because
Mm. Next to the United States.
if you go too far north, it's way too cold, right? It's so, and there's even places where in the winter time, for a couple of months in the winter, you get no sunlight. The sun does not come up. It's just dark all day for a couple of
Is
months.
snow all the time.
Well, and just the moon is out. It's
Mhm.
the way that it's at the very top of the world, right? And so the sun doesn't hit it in the wintertime for about 2 months. We have parts, and then the opposite in the summer, where you have about 2 months of daylight, no nighttime. It's always just sunshine, or well, if there's clouds, of course, but there's no moon, there's no stars. It's you can stand there and watch the sun go around in a circle around you instead of going up and down.
Mm, and in North, heavy some peoples, I think, or no,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, we have
and
we have villages.
heavy schools and
Yeah.
bars. Really?
Yes,
Oh my
yes.
God.
Very small communities, not very large, but they are
Mm-hmm.
there. Yes, we've got the all of our territories up there. Actually, my husband was looking at real estate in the Yukon, and I said, "Nuh-uh, we are not going that far north."
It's
And there's
impossible.
yes, I'm not doing it. But there's actually a city there called Whitehorse up there in the Yukon territories, way at the top there
Mm-hmm.
beside Alaska, right?
Okay.
Um, and I am not moving there. I'm not doing it. It's too
The
cold.
weather it's similar Alaska in the north.
Yes, exactly. Because
Wow.
Alaska is right beside our Yukon territories. We do have a bunch more above it, right? You know, Alaska just
Mm-hmm.
goes to there, but we do have all of these islands up in here. And actually, it does go further. It's just I
Mm-hmm.
my
I
amazing
understand.
globe. But yeah, so because the North Pole is part of Canada, actually. So it
I
goes so
understand.
far up. And in those places, the ocean is completely frozen over, right? So we have ice
Mm-hmm.
roads. You can drive on the ice because of the permafrost. It's always frozen. It never thaws out.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting the map because, for example, uh, have it the United States, Canada, and Alaska.
Yeah.
It's the United States,
I know. I
but
don't know how they ended up with it.
Alaska was Canada and after the United States, or no?
I don't think so. I don't think that we have ever claimed it as our own, which I don't understand how they got that land. I've never understood that one ever, but I don't really mind at all personally. I don't mind. I actually kind of like having them surrounding us. It makes me feel safe.
I understand.
Yeah.
For me, for example, when I see the map and the Alaska, the United, Canada, the United States,
Yeah, no,
and
we're
the,
just surrounded, right?
yeah, it's
Yes.
very complicated for
Yes,
me.
our neighbor.
Uh, it's very crazy.
Yes.
I have 1 minute, and
Yeah.
the conversation was very good.
Yeah, it went so
For me,
fast.
it's very interesting because the culture it's a different culture in
Yeah.
Canada
Yeah.
and Brazil, but the Cambly have opportunity it
Yes, no, this was
and
great.
I have some students. I am a English teacher in Brazil.
Oh, are you?
Uh, yeah, and when I teach about English, I teach grammar and speak.
Yeah,
And
right.
I like watch videos on Cambly with my students, and
Oh,
it's possible I see this video with my student.
oh dear. Okay. I wish I would have
Uh,
fixed my hair.
it's okay.
Yes, for sure. I don't mind at all. I feel bad that I didn't really teach you very much other than Canadian geography.
Yeah. And thank you very much. Bye
Of
bye.
course. Bye.
See you.